Our speaker for today is Dr. Roni Ellington. She is a mathematics education professor, inspirational speaker, and STEM education scholar and mentor. Dr. Roni Ellington has spent the last 18 years cultivating herself as a teacher, speaker, scholar, and personal development expert. Trained as a mathematics educator, Dr. Roni Ellington has authored several scholarly articles on STEM education, parental involvement, and successfully navigating the STEM pipeline, particularly for minority students. As a co-owner in Evoke Life, Dr. Ellington is an expert on transformation learning and personal mastery. As a licensed practitioner, she is committed to bringing this to the masses through teaching and is extremely grateful to serve this community in whatever way is aligned with her spiritual mission. Please welcome Dr. Roni.
Okay. Hey, I'm sitting down, which is a big deal. Hey, Reverend Ray, I didn't know you was gonna be here. You should have told me. So am I the one to share my screen with the slides or what? I technically is.
Yes.
Am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let me just. So you guys can see it.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Let me do from the beginning. All right, so welcome everyone, welcome. As we continue into June, we're talking about mindfulness for Mavericks. So this topic, I thought it was quite interesting that when I was asked to talk today, the title for this day is Mindful Intentions, which is interesting because a lot of the work that I do with clients, etc., is around intention. So I want to ask before I get started that you suspend what you think you already know about intention and be open for a new expanded way of thinking about intention that will give you access to something you may not have seen before. So I invite all of you to just really open your minds around what we mean by intention, and what is this thing called mindful intentions. Okay, so the theme is all demonstrations are complete when what you set into motion through the law of mind appears in form. All demonstrations first begin as a thought. The power of intention is a demonstration of your faith in the invisible substance of life. So as I thought about this sermon, this whole idea of mindful intention, I'd like you to sit with this idea of mindful intentions. So if you think about mindful intentions, what came to me was there must be this thing called unmindful intention that would be the complement in this conversation. So if we say that there's this thing called mindful intention, it automatically implies that there are unmindful intentions that may or may not be operating. This also had me think about times where I've been in conversations or people have been in conversations with me and they've said things like, that's not what I intended. So some outcome occurs and then the person says, well, that's not my intention. And it also reminded me of an ex-boyfriend of mine who used to say this all the time, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. So as I reflected on this conversation for today, I just really thought about if there's a thing called mindful intentions, what do we mean by unmindful intentions, and what is the process through which we bring forth to mind, not just to thought, and I'm going to expand even the definition of mind. How do we bring forth mindfulness to our unmindful intention? I know that's a lot to think about. So here's the question. If there's this thing called mindful intentions, what are the default unmindful intentions that we may not be aware of that are demonstrating themselves in our lives? And then how do we have access to our unmindful intentions, right? Because we say set an intention. Well, the question is, if those intentions are not mindful, can we set them, right? So all of these questions kept coming to me as we talked about intention. And I really thought, and this is our work in my company, we really are helping people to unpack that your intention is always present. You're just not present to it. And it may be that you are unconsciously setting an intention that's not aligned with what you're saying in any moment or how you're participating in any moment. And that is causing the disconnect between what you say you want to happen and what's actually happening. So as the good mathematician that I am, we always start with defining terms. Anybody who's been in a math class will tell you that before we talk about a mathematical term, we have to find a definition that we can agree on. Because like any body of work, any philosophy, it is built on definitions. And I get this from Reverend Ray. Every time we talk about something, he has the definition front and center. So no different today. So here's the standard definition of intention that we usually use is an idea that you plan or intend to carry out. If you mean something, it's an intention. It's your goal, purpose, or aim. It's something you meant to do. And this is key, whether you pull it off or not. Some synonyms that are in the dictionary for intention are purpose, design, aim, end, object, goal. And what we mean to accomplish may not happen. Intention implies little more than what one has in mind and what they want to bring about. So as I reflected on this definition, and again, as the mathematician that I am, this is confusing to me because if intention is simply a goal or objective, why not just say, this is my goal, not my intention? See? So what it begs the question is, okay, is this definition sufficient to embody the true nature of what an intention really is? Because if intention is simply a goal, we can simply set a goal, set a plan, act on the plan, and it would automatically occur. But as we all know by the definition of I didn't get what I intended, clearly there's something more to it than simply setting a goal and setting a plan. So again, I don't like definitions that provide ambiguity because then I don't even know what I'm talking about when I say I am setting an intention. And I'm clearly not saying what I mean when I have an unmindful intention that may be running in the background. So to me, this definition is insufficient to give me power over my intention. So as I reflect on that, this is my beautiful business partner. She wrote a book called Being is the New Doing. And in this text, she offers a definition of intention that I buy into, and it helps me explain those times when I say this is my goal, yet the goal goes awry. Or I say I'm up to loving someone, and that's not their experience. Or I say that I want something to happen in the world, yet it doesn't happen as I quote unquote intend or the goal I set. Because what this definition implies is that your full energetic is what your intention is. It is not just the plan, it is not just the goal, but it is a full energetic measure of who you are being in any moment. It is a measure of the full intensity and type of energy you hold towards a goal and towards experiences specific to a result. Intention resonates from your being as a signal to others and the universe about who you are and the results you are creating. So as I contemplated on this definition, I said, wow, if my intention is beyond just the goal I set or the plan I set, it is the full energetic measure of who I'm being at any moment as it relates to a goal, then the question is, how do I get access to my real intention as it relates to some goal that I may be setting? And that brings me to the next slide. this is what I want you to sit with. You set a goal, you devise a plan, but you are an intention. You don't have an intention, you are an intention. Because see, people, you are energy always. You cannot be unmindful as you. When you are truly in your being, you are intention. So when you say, I set an intention and it didn't happen, what you're really saying is that what I said is not an energetic match for who I'm being in the moment. What you're really saying is, I may have said something that sounded good or what I may have wanted. However, the energetic that I am showing up inside of is not a match for that. So then it goes, quote unquote, awry. And this awryness comes from the fact that you're not really present to the intention that you're embodying in any given moment because some aspect of you has gone unconscious. You may have a hidden belief. You may have a thought that you're not saying out loud, but it's driving how you're showing up. You may have a feeling that's in your soul that you can't quite put your finger on, that's not a match for what you're saying or the goal you set or the plan you're trying to go about realizing. There's some aspects of your anatomy, of your being, that is not brought into this so-called goal or plan that you are saying consciously. So when you go to act on it, you don't have a sufficient amount of energetic to actually realize that which you say. Now what this does is it puts us in a whole new realm of responsibility. So not only are we responsible for the goal we set and the plan, but we're also now responsible for the energetic that we bring to that goal and that plan, because that is the intention that will create the result. Unfortunately, we spend little time investigating and excavating who we're being in any moment as it relates to anything. And I'm only speaking for me. If this don't count for you, then you can put mute and keep it moving. But I'm only speaking for me. There are times where I am acting as if that I am up to something, but when I check in with my energetic and I check in with my experience, I can see that what I'm saying is not a match with what's really happening in my spirit, in my mind, in my heart, and therefore it has little room to manifest in our lives. If you can relate to that, you can raise your hand, or maybe this is just me. So again, you are not a goal. You are not a plan. You are energetic, moving as a human being. You are not a human planning or a human goaling. You are a human being. So anytime we talk about intention, you have to go at the level of being in order for you to really understand why things don't, quote unquote, go your way, because you intended them to. So it is in that space that I share a story, because those of you who know me know that the only person's lives I'm a master of is my own. So I want to share with you a story from my own life to illustrate this. So I would assert that I am a loving person. At least I plan to be. I set the goal in any interaction to be loving, to be a listener, to be whatever. Like to really have someone be experience. How can I say it? To experience the love that I have for them in the moment. Well, there are times where the people around me show signs that that's not what they got. Even though I said that was my goal, even though I quote unquote set that intention, what's out there over there with them is some annoyance that they feel I have with them, some make wrong that's in the background that I cannot cover up with nice words and platitudes. There's something in my energetic that is being transmuted over there that I'm not quote unquote aware of, and I didn't mean to leave them feeling dismissed, disregarded, or made wrong. This happens in my relationships. It happens in the job where I say something and my goal is to have them understand what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is the right direction or whatever I'm saying. But what's out there is this chick has an issue. This chick is angry. This chick got something going on. Now, before I really understood intention, I would simply push this off to say, that's their problem. They didn't quite get me. I would make all kinds of explanations and excuses for why my so-called intention was not realized in the world. It was a way to kind of let me off the hook and say, well, that's them. That has nothing to do with me. I was being pure, genuine, whatever I want to say, but yet the result was still the result. So with that, actually this happened in concert with my business partner who actually wrote the book. We sat and said, well, Ronnie, we were having a conversation about one of the many things that I said didn't go my way. And we thought about it. We said, well, maybe something else is at play. Maybe intention has levels. Right? So I go back to this whole, for as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So could it be that there was something in my heart that I was thinking that was showing up as the result of my life, and my intention was actually undermining the goal that I set? So who I thought I might have been may not have been consistent with what was really in my heart. And it says in here, you can find out who you think you are by looking at the life you live, by the people you surround yourself with, by the boundaries you set, and by the reactions of those external to you. You can actually get a sense of who you are by simply looking at the results in your life. I don't care what you say out your mouth. And this was something I had to grapple with because I was genuine. I was mindful. I would set up my intention. I would do some prayer work. I would do all of this, and still, no matter what, I was left with somebody felt how they felt. So then what that took me to is what we're going to call the anatomy of intention. So we started to really grapple with this, me and my partner, like, well, wait a minute. What is intention anyway? And what we really figured out, this is just our perspective, but you can try it on, that intention is not a goal. The goal is what your intention is referenced toward. So for example, in the conversations I just noted, my goal was to leave a person feeling heard and understood, yet my experience and my energetic was not a match for that goal. So we started to figure out and say, well, wait a minute. If this is the case, then maybe, just like energy, right? If you think about measuring any energy, I can't think of any examples. If you think about temperature, you think about pressure in a tire, you think about different energetic measures, they're not just one or two. There are many ways to measure that. So what I started to consider was maybe this energetic can be measured like a thermometer measures temperature. So as a person, we have an energetic that could simply be measured by our experience and our energetic, and it could actually have many different levels. So depending on where we are at any level of our energetic, we would have either a low level of intention, indifferent, or high. This is what provided a breakthrough for me, because as I reflected on the times where I set a goal, I made a plan, and it didn't turn out, I could then look at this scale and say, well, even though I made a plan, even though I set a goal, my experience and my energetic was simply not a match for what I was setting out to do. So in this case that I brought up about me and people, there's a certain resignation and settling that the energetic that I bring to my interactions with people embodied, right? So even though I was saying I wanted to be understood and I wanted this connective experience, what was really playing in the background when I did some investigative work was a level of settling, accepting or agreeing to something that I consider less than satisfactory, adopting security or comfort, and rationalizing what I know to be true. So inside of me saying I want to connect and I was settling, there was this -1 type of energy that was then giving me the results out there in the world. Now this is a high level conversation, because what this then does is it forces us to that wasn't what I intended. It actually was what you intended. You just wasn't clear where you were coming from. Now, I'm going to pause there because I want you to sit with that. And we're going to do a little exercise for you to really uncover in your life where that has occurred, where you have had a goal and a plan and it went awry, but when you really think about your experience and your energetic, when you look at your thoughts, when you look at your feelings, when you look at your beliefs, when you really tell the truth about where you were coming from, you will see that the energetic that you embodied was not a match for what you said you wanted. And therefore, you got exactly what you intended. See, going into a relationship or a situation feeling resigned and settling for what was less than ideal would cause people to feel like, wait a minute, something's off. She's not really telling the truth. Or she has really got some make wrong that she's trying to step over and all of that. And so my resignation would seep through my bones just like someone who may not have showered well, it would seep through their skin. And no amount of pleasantries, no amount of I love you would actually counteract the stench of where my resignation lived. Now, again, I'm only speaking for me, but you look in your life in those times where you say you about something, but nothing in your energetic is a match. So you are actually either in the low end, you might be indifferent, you might be wishing and wanting, but you're not embodying the energetic that's a match for what you say you want. So your intention is always being realized. But what you're not realizing is where you are in it, so therefore you don't have to be responsible for when that quote-unquote intention goes awry. Got me? I can't see y'all, but I'm going to take the case that you are following me. So here's what I'd like you to do as a way to just really play with this idea, and I want you to just kind of look at the intention scale. This is a proprietary instrument, so you know you can use it, but give it credit because it's our proprietary work, because we did some excavating, and I tell you it's a truth teller all day long. So think about a time in your life where you have missed the mark, where you did something or you showed up and something occurred that wasn't what you intended, that you didn't mean it. They took it the wrong way. Or you was at work and you had a quote-unquote goal to get something done in a timely manner, and it just didn't go that way. Now, I can also own that there are times where it does. And I'm not going to talk about those just yet, because there are times where you really are an energetic match for what you say, and the plan you create is aligned with that. But let's talk about the times where you so-called didn't get what you intended. Now, as you do that, I want everybody to come up with something. That's right, come up with something that you can look back, whether it's in a relationship, it's at the job, it's even with these events that's occurring where a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to do in response to the injustice, right? But, you know, it ain't happening around me, but I'm a good person. What all that, the way you want something to happen, yet it's not happening the way you said it. It could be global events, it could be personal events, it doesn't matter. Okay, great. Everybody got something, correct? Good. I see the nods through the screen. All right. Now reflect, as you look back on that instant where it went awry, reflect on your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions that you embodied in that interaction or as it related to that goal. Whether that goal was justice for everyone, whether that goal was showing love to your husband, whether it was at work, being a good colleague, whatever the case may be. When you dig deep and you investigate your experience and your energetic, where was it really on this scale? Were you resisting? I mean, you were struggling, you were having difficulty, you were forcing, you were going against your personal truth. Maybe you were sacrificing, where you was in an either-or mindset, avoiding and denying something that was true to you. Maybe you were indifferent, which is a good one, where we say we're up to something, yet when we really check our intention, when we look at our experience, we are highly indifferent. Because as long as it doesn't impact me, as long as I walk away with whatever I came with, I'm good. So even though I say I'm about justice for all, what's really present is I'm quite indifferent. I just don't want to look bad to the people outside of me, so when it's not happening, I can just sit back and say, I did it all I could. Or maybe you're striving. You are making great efforts. You are focusing on a whole lot of effort. But what you're not doing is embodying the way of being that would be a match for what you say, because you don't even know what that looks like. You haven't investigated that. So again, I just invite you to look at that instance where you did not make the mark and what your true intention was in that moment, and how that will then explain why it went the way it went. It was not that you just didn't, I don't know, whatever excuse we make. It was because these energetic was insufficient to get the goal. So here's what Wayne Dyer says: you get what you intend to create by being in harmony with the power of intention, which is responsible for all creation. And again, intention is not a goal, it's not a plan, it is the sum total of how you're being about a situation or a goal in the moment. And when you look at your collective intention, you will see that your life is a direct match for the intention that you have had, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So here's my man James Allen as a man thinketh. And again, thinking is not just in thoughts in your head. You are a thought in the mind of God. You are a being in the mind of God. So when you think about thinketh, I want you to expand this notion of thinking beyond what you're saying in your mind to the energetic that you're bringing. Your thoughts are your body language. Your thoughts are your heart. Your thoughts are your feelings. Your thoughts are your beliefs. Your thoughts are all who you are in the moment. So think about that in that expanded definition. They themselves are makers of themselves by virtue of the thoughts, again, the being, which they choose and encourage. That mind is the master weaver, both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment of circumstances. So if you see in that intention scale, there's this inner experience, and then there's the outer energetic. That's how I interpret this. And that is, as they may have hetero woven in ignorance, meaning unmindfulness, and pain, which is reaction, they may now weave in enlightenment, which is consciousness and happiness. So again, as you expand your idea of intention, this definition that we probably have always seen and what we talk about is expanded in us. So now I encourage you to take what we've done and just think of a time. Your job today is going to be to really excavate your intention. How you are showing up as it relates to a goal. One, you got to be clear of the goal, because you can't miss a mark if you don't know what it is. So as you interact and do things, set a goal. What is my goal here? And then reflect on the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions that you are embodying as it relates to that goal, and check it against the intention scale. What is your true intention? What's the energetic that's really at play, no matter what you saying and setting and planning? And then journal what you see regarding your energetic related to any goal that you have. And then begin to shift your intention mindfully. Begin to excavate those beliefs that are not aligned. Begin to create experiences that really are aligned. And that's work. That's the work. So as we end this this little talk, I just want us to sit with this affirmation and have it be something that we think through and be with for the rest of the week. My faith is strong. My intentions are clear and powerful. I am always mindful of my goal and align my full being with my highest and purest goals. I'd like you guys to say that with me. My faith is strong. My intentions are clear, and that's my being is clear and powerful. I am always mindful of my goal and align my full being with my highest and purest goals. And so it is.